This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast to help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast. And today we're going to be talking to Brian Jones, once again, the physical therapist from Hawaii. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Aloha, Angela. I'm doing just fine.
Aloha. Love that. I've been using that word a lot, aloha.
Feels good.
I like it.
Once you get out here, you can't stop using it. It's just part of the collective consciousness, the culture. Feels right.
Yeah, I'm thinking once I get out there, I might not want to come back.
That's what happened to me.
It's so beautiful. So today we're going to be talking about surfing, Brian. You're an avid surfer and you're right there in the depth of it. You know what it's all about. And you help others who want to get into surfing, maybe train their bodies and also help them deal with issues that might come up later on down the road. So let's first talk about your surfing experience.
Yes. Well, I am a Ohio boy, so not too many waves out there. But I didn't even know I really liked the ocean until I went to grad school in Florida. Florida, not too many waves. So I got into scuba diving out there. So I started a love for the ocean when I was, in Miami on the East Coast diving. But I didn't even try surfing until I got out to Hawaii. The waves are just very predictable, warm water, very welcoming. Once I got out here, I was determined to learn. So first thing I bought was a car. The second thing I bought was a surfboard. That's it. Yeah, I didn't even have a place to live yet. And I was like, I'm going to learn. So I went every day for, I would say 3 or 4 months before I really could call myself a surfer, right? Until you can actually get the hang of it. It takes a lot of practice and skill. And for those who may be just learning, one of the most valuable lessons is you may deal with some tendonitis, some overuse injuries. I certainly did. You tend to use certain muscles more than you typically don't, right? Because you're paddling a lot. I had to learn how to compensate for these injuries, and now has helped me as a physical therapist to teach people what to look out for. Body positioning, kinematics, how you move your whole body while you're in the waves, and how injuries occur. So it's been, coming up on 11 years now. I've been out here in the learning experience of a lifetime.
Are the waves monstrous there compared to Florida?
Yeah. People say, well, what's the seasons like in Hawaii? And we always joke there's north swell and south swell, meaning in the winter, there's waves coming in from the north, and in the summer, the waves coming from the south. And so the waves are typically bigger on the north shore of Oahu in the winter, and at certain times can reach 50 to 60 feet.
Mm.
Yeah, it's intense. Even on the shoreline, if you're standing there, you can feel the vibration of the waves hitting. Yeah, it's an unreal feeling. You can watch it on TV all day, but until you're there in person, it's different. The power of nature.
And what about the summertime?
Yeah, the biggest the waves will get, we'll call it double overhead, meaning like 2 people. So, but typically they're about head high in Waikiki, Honolulu. The waves are about 4, 5, 6 feet at most. So it's more welcoming to most people. And that's typically the waves I stay on, is about waist to shoulder high. Just fun, relaxing, controllable, manageable waves. Yeah.
Is the water always warm there?
Yeah, about 83 degrees year round.
Year long. Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, very welcoming. Fun for water sports all year round. So we're very lucky. I'm very lucky to call this home.
Absolutely. So we're going to be having quite a few surfing events here in Flagler Beach, where I live. This month, they're starting out. Let's see, March 15th, there's going to be the Flagler Surf Series. That's for 3 days.
Okay.
And it's for all people who want to be involved, men, women, children. Depending on your level, you can be brand new at it, you can enter the competitive level. So it's open to all. I think that's pretty cool for 3 days.
Yeah, I'm reading about it right now. It looks like it's a third best wave in the state of Florida. That's cool though. 3 days for kind of an open tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm trying to look at the predictions to see what the waves are going to be, but that's a whole science in itself.
Yeah.
That science is called, sounds like I'm going to say a lisp, but bathymetry is the study of waves. There's a lot of more intelligent people than I'll ever be about this. They look at ground swell, wind swell, temperature, barometer readings, and try to figure out the best day and times for surf.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to look online right now about the holding period, but it looks like it's just a set date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, out here, they'll have something called a holding period. Say a tournament, it'll last 3 days, but the holding period will be 2 to 3 weeks long. And in that duration, they try to figure out when the best waves are coming through. So
Nice.
most competitive time and the most clean waves, if you will. As surfing's moving into an Olympic sport, they're trying to standardize a lot of the contests. So a lot of science behind getting the right conditions.
Yep, makes for a better day for sure. Make it more competitive, right?
Yeah, and even they're building all these wave parks around the country. Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think in a matter of 10 to 20 years, it'll be more and more common to see these wave pools around the country.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas, Arizona, the places you wouldn't think surfing exists, they're starting to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can practice anywhere you're at or just go to have fun.
Yeah.
It's making me ready for Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Get yourself ready. Well, I do have friends who come out often. They're like, hey, I want to surf Waikiki when I get there. And I'm always like, hey, just go to your local YMCA, start doing laps. I mean, you got to train. You got to get your body ready for at least a few months before you want to get out there, because the closest, most popular wave break's about 200 yards out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't swim, 2 football fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's just getting there, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the training. Go ahead, dive into that.
For beginners, you want to make sure that your shoulder strength's adequate. And also, more importantly, is your neck and thoracic spine. When we paddle, you're in a slightly extended, so scapular retraction and scapular depression position. Most people who start surfing without any training, they'll overstrain their neck and rotator cuff because the body position is so important. And if you're not training surfing for at least a couple months out, getting your body used to the repetitive motions, you're going to have a lot of pain, a lot of problems. And we'll see that. People will hire, there's surf instructors you can hire for the day who will paddle you out. If you don't want to work that hard, you can pay someone. And you pay them really well, you don't have to paddle at all. There's guys who devote their job to doing that out here.
Wow.
So, yeah, I know a few of them. Furthermore than that, it's getting familiar with the water, but also breath holds. It may not sound like it's that intimidating at first, but on your 3 to 4 foot wave, you may be held under for several seconds, and it's scary. It seems like a lot longer when that's happening in person.
Mm-hmm.
So when you fall off the board, you have to hold your breath, right? And typically when you have forces exerted on you and you're falling through the wave, you will not focus on your breath hold and air will escape. So most people kind of panic when they're first learning, and they lose their air that they hold, right? So a lot of surf learners who eventually get into big wave training, they'll do something called apnea training. And a lot of my buddies who surf these 30, 40, 50-foot waves, they don't let you go out until you can hold your breath for about 2 minutes while doing push-ups. So it's a very common apnea training method. You hold your breath, do push-ups for 2 minutes, and they won't let you out if you can't do that, to stress the body. Also, there's a very common training method, which I participated in with some big wave surfers. They call it running rocks, where you just get a rock and then you run on the bottom of the ocean. So you go down the beach, keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And again, you try to just hold it for as long as you can, because imagine this 30-foot wave, it's going to push you under at least.
Pump it.
Yeah. So that force of the water is going to push you down in the water. So you got to get used to the pressure on your ears too. So it's not just musculoskeletal training as one would think. It's cardiopulmonary, and it's also deal with pressure and your equilibrium on your middle ear.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those ear injuries are more common than people tend to realize. So people will get slammed on the water and have vertigo from damaged middle ears. So it's not uncommon for us to have a surfer out there kind of paddling in circles. And that's when we know some damage has occurred to the vestibular system. So, yeah, it's a very weird one, but not often talked about. We always like to focus on cervical spine, shoulder, whatever it may be, concussions, but the vestibular thing is often untalked about. So that's our system that keeps us in balance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's more to it than the paddling out there.
Yeah.
And okay, so you need to be able to jump up on your board. You need to be able to balance on your board. Yeah.
I don't even focus on that at first. I'm like, you just got to focus on your body's ability to stand up. And there's tons of movies we could laugh at. Like, have you ever seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
With like Paul Rudd, and he's up there and he's like, do less. He's trying to stand up. But I think of that one every time because people often try too hard. But yeah, you got to have the flexibility, range of motion to essentially do a burpee, right? Push up from the ground. So that's a common method of training that. But
yeah, jumping up. Do you ever see people doing that on the land first before they even get into the water?
oh, sure, yeah. You'll walk by a surf school, and typically they have 5 to 10 participants.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be going over the basics, the mechanics of how to stand up, and whether you've tried snowboarding or skateboarding or surfing before. There's 2 styles, right? There's regular and goofy. So regular would be your left foot forward, and goofy is your right foot forward. Now, there's speculation why people go this way, like why when someone surf with their right foot forward or their left foot forward. I'm goofy. I can't figure out why, but I've tried to surf regular, but my brain and my body just doesn't happen. And so you'll be on the beach and we'll say, stand up and get into a surf position. And whatever position you get in, that's where you go.
Feels natural.
Yeah, whatever's natural for you. So I'm right-handed and that has nothing to do with it, but I just have to put my right foot forward. So we don't try to change
You have to
that.
put your right foot forward?
Personally, yeah, I can't do it the other way.
Feels right? Okay.
Yeah, I can't snowboard or skate or anything the opposite way. It just feels so wrong.
Huh.
So we don't try to change that. We're like, whatever, that's what you do. That's you.
Whatever works. Yeah.
Stay with it.
Well, does it matter which way the wave is coming from as far as balancing better?
Yeah, great
Right foot or
question.
the left foot?
Yeah, so waves can either be left or right break or a point break. I'm sure everyone's seen that movie with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves, right? Point break. That just refers to the way a wave breaks over the reef. Typically, waves come in at different angles, so you can either go left or right. So that's just the way the wave pushes you. Point break goes both directions, and that's why they're so popular. It's because they cater to both regular and goofy style surfers. So these little variables don't mean much, and you can surf a left normal or goofy or a right normal or goofy. Just there are different waves that serve different stances better. So in my case, going left is more easy. So my right foot forward so I can kind of face the wave. I know it's a lot to process for the audience. But sometimes
I'm picturing that in my mind.
yeah, sometimes just Googling an image of different wave breaks is really helpful if you're having a hard time imagining it. But yeah, just Google point break, not the movie, but the image, and it should make sense to you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that actually comes full circle back to how we train and help rehabilitate surfers who get injured. Depending on your body position, you will overuse and underuse certain muscles. So whatever foot is forward, you tend to use that glute medius more, so the hip abductor. That will see a lot of like tendonitis, tendinosis issues, as well as low back pain. And because you're always in that one-sided position, we have to train the opposite side to compensate. So a lot of surfers who've not been doing it their whole life will have to train the opposing muscle groups off to keep symmetry, balance.
I saw one of your TikTok videos of you balancing on it, looked like a band, and walking on it, taking a few steps. And I'm like, oh my gosh, talk about balance,
Slack line. Yeah. Have you never seen the slack line before?
No, it's wow. I just like really, because everything's got to be steady. You got to your legs, your ankles, your feet, your hips, your core, everything.
Yeah, we call that the kinematic chain, right? If you have deficit in your ankle strength or knee strength, it's going to affect your whole way up. And so when there's no waves, you'll see a lot of people out here put up these things called slack lines, which is a tightrope, between trees. And it's about 2 feet off the ground. So when you fall, you could land on the sand. Relatively safe, relatively.
Yeah. Is that band though? Is it like a regular?
It's like, it's like,
band?
No, it's a toe strap. Like when you pull cars out of ditches.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know who came up with it. I'm actually curious to look now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you have a toe strap in your car to pull a car out, maybe, stuck.
I actually have one of those. I'll have to set it up.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like a 2-inch wide. There's 1-inch wide ones, but if you just walk on it, it's flatline. There's a little give, and that's where your body has to compensate. And there's no waves. I mean, we can't predict Mother Nature that way,
right.
But a lot of surfers will put those slack lines up to essentially do balance and stability training. And we always like being at the beach too, right? So
yeah. I'll have to take my tow line out to the beach over here. The ladies are going to be starting to train soon because in June we have it's called Her Turn surfing event.
Okay.
Personal trainer that I know here in the community, Heather Tran, she's the one who started it. I believe last year was the first one. Just all women surfers at all levels. Awesome. Yeah. So they're going to be starting, if they haven't already started their training. So that'd be cool to take that out to the beach and have them practice their balance abilities. Yeah.
Especially with the female surfer demographic, when we use slackline for training for surfing, I always like to have them focus on neutral pelvis. So just standing on one leg, very subtle bend in the knee, and then just maintaining stability for 30 seconds to a minute, and then trying to switch between the feet. The reason for that is when you're able to stand on one leg and keep a neutral pelvis, that trains a muscle, the glute medius. So if you have weakness in that muscle, we call it the model walk. You'll see the hips drop left and right. They call that a Trendelenburg gait pattern. And why it's so important in the female population is, are you familiar with the Q angle?
Yes.
Yeah, so wider hips. Women have wider hips than men. And what happens is the femur will internally rotate more. They call that genu valgum. If the glute medius is weak, it's going to create more strain on the inside of the knee just because of the wider hips. And that's why a lot of female surfers are more prone to ACL and MCL tears. Just an anatomical variation. But that's why we focus on that strength training for not just surfers, but basketball players and baseball players and all female sports. Yeah, we want to start that early too, like around 12 to 13. We see most ACL tears around 16 years old in female athletes. So it's important. If you're out there listening and you have a young daughter, or maybe you are a young teenager, it's important to train those muscles to help reduce the risk of injury. So, but slackline's a good way to do it. Fun.
Yeah, I love it. Tie it up to a couple of palm trees on the beach and have some fun with your friends, right?
Yeah, it's the cheapest form of entertainment you'll ever find. It's like $40, and every time I put it up, I might do it today. There's not too many waves. We'll see. But kids come by, and I always tell the parents, I'm like, just hold their hands. It's on you. I don't want to be responsible. They're like, all right, I got you. At least have fun. It's a very, very cheap way of entertaining everyone for hours.
Yeah. So you have a lot of people that come to you with shoulder damage from surfing,
Yeah,
calf injuries.
it's mostly overuse injuries. So tendonitis, tendinosis, bursitis, like chronic degenerative conditions. But every now and again, we'll see like impact from falls or acute injuries, like labral tears, where the arm will hyperextend into an abnormal position. That happened to me. I wiped out and I put my arm forward to stop myself, but the board caught my arm and yanked it back over my head. And I wound up with something called a slap tear, and that needed surgery. So, have you heard of the labral tears in the shoulder?
No.
No, the labrum is kind of like a cup that holds our humeral head in place. It's a stabilizing factor. We have one in the hip as well, but if there's trauma to the humerus, it goes into an abnormal position, like whether you fall on an outstretched arm or you crank your arm back overhead too fast. The bone itself will dig into the cartilage, the labrum, and tear it. And so that, unfortunately, does not repair on its own. You need surgery to help repair a labrum. And otherwise it'll just like click and snap and pop all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to go in there and essentially just suture it back together. Mm-hmm. That's it. So it wasn't too bad, but recovery's 6 months. So it takes time. Yeah. I couldn't work out or surf or anything for, just do my little weights and stretches, but you got to let the sutures essentially heal. So it takes time.
Yeah. So you had to restrain yourself and not go do what you love to do every day. That's the hardest part, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I was just hiking and doing cardio, bunny. And that's just how it goes with life. I always tell people, don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. So whether you injure your shoulder, you're still capable of walking. You're still capable of going outside. And that's no different than, I think it's a good metaphor for life too, not just physical well-being.
Mm-hmm.
But we often get too caught up in our own past life mistakes, right? You're not, and trying not to be a psychologist here, right? But hey, it blends over.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah. Don't focus on your past failures. Focus on your future successes, right?
There you go. Learn from your past failures and move on.
Yes. Yeah. That's a podcast I was listening to recently, focusing on your losses in life, turn those L's into lessons.
Ah.
So fail often and fail a lot to learn more. was the plot. Yeah. The beautiful thing about surfing is no matter who you are, if you're Kelly Slater or if you're just starting off, you're going to fall. Everyone falls. So it's a fun sport because everyone falls at the end, no matter who you are. And so that's half the fun. Like, enjoying the ride, just that little wave, having a good time.
Absolutely. So do you see a lot of injuries out there or not really? I mean, of course it happens, but like on a daily basis, is there a lot of stuff going wrong?
Yeah, it's relatively safe sport, meaning you just know how to fall right, land in the water, protect yourself. Most injuries come from other boards. Maybe a novice surfer doesn't have control of their board and they let it go. And that board will be kind of pushing forward by the wake or the water. Mm-hmm. And it'll hit someone in the head or the fin will slice someone. So we'll see a lot of lacerations. Or more than anything, or just injury from the reef. You get pushed into the reef too much, and volcanic rock is not soft. It will cut you. That's almost everyone's first experience in Hawaii. Is that rock sharp? Yeah, if you walk on it barefoot, you're gonna have cuts on your feet. It's no different in the water. So when you get pushed into it, it can sting a little.
Is it any worse than coral, like the coral reefs? The volcanic rock? Yeah,
it's just about the same. I mean,
okay.
I would say it's worse just because of the lava rock. The way it breaks down, it's a little sharper, but there are coral reefs out here too, but not as much. Yeah, not as much.
But the lava rocks are everywhere.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's what creates the surf, right?
Yeah.
So the break, the lava rock at different depths, when the wave goes over it, it creates that wave.
Mhm.
So wherever you see waves out here, there's a volcanic rock underneath of it or a reef. So
Mhm.
just kind of like, be careful, don't go over there, a little too shallow. And that's why it helps to have someone take you out who knows where to go, what to avoid.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's marine life out here too. So jellyfish and all that can bother you.
Year round?
Yeah. Yeah. There's different seasons. Like Portuguese manowar, the ones that suck the most. Have you heard of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I jumped into one once. Lovely, like electricity bolts on my arm for about a week.
Oh, it's for that long. Wow.
Yeah, it'll wrap around you and it'll have these like pretty red lines that will stay on you for a good 4 or 5 days.
A tattoo you don't want.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I've seen them on faces and backs, and it's just like, ow. Yeah, it's not the worst, but it's not fun either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do see a lot of acute injuries as well out here. But mostly it's the lifeguards, not so much the surfers themselves. No, I mean, think about it. You're in Florida, and you get a lot of your snowbirds out there, right? So
Mhm.
New Jersey, New York, right? Whole East Coast
Not
coming
only
down
snowbirds, but all kinds of tourists and visitors. Yeah.
around the world. Yeah, Disney World Global. So they go out to Daytona or wherever. They're in Orlando, and they want to go see the ocean. Maybe the waves are big one day, and they don't know how to swim.
Mhm.
It happens all the time out here. Well, something called shore breaks. So where the wave's big enough where it breaks on the shoreline, people find it attractive. They want to go check it out. It's visually stunning. And the problem is people don't realize how powerful they are. So we'll see people kind of playing in the shore break, and then a big wave will pitch up, and then it'll just, I mean, there's a beach out here called Sandy's. They call it Breakneck Beach. About 2 or 3 ambulances a day out there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
So they keep those guys busy, huh?
yeah, but I mean, you get thrown into the sand really hard by a heavy wave, and if your neck lands wrong or your shoulder lands wrong, it breaks bones. And not only that, but you're getting dragged out into the water. And yeah, if you don't know how to swim or you're panicking, a lot of the lifeguards will go out there and try to save you. But I mean, I like to use this story a lot, but you got a 300-pound guy from Wisconsin who doesn't know how to swim, and now he has a hurt shoulder, and he's getting yanked out into the ocean, panicking. You got a 150-pound lifeguard trying to save him. Unfortunately, the lifeguard usually doesn't win in that situation. They even end up with a bicep tendon strain or something, So, yeah, they're putting their bodies of life on the line just to help you out. And I'm so grateful they're there because they saved me. Yeah.
Okay. When you hurt your shoulder?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's exactly right. When I got hurt, the board got broken in half too. It was a big wave. So not only did I have one arm, but no board to hold on to, and I was like an oh crap moment, like turned into survival really fast, and you're treading water with a hurt shoulder, and thank God they saw me out there and came on a jet ski. And luckily, it's my buddy. He's like, "You gonna hang out for a little while longer? You want some help?" I'm like, "Oh, I was just treading water for fun." Just joking with him, but he's like, "Kid, I'm like, yeah, my shoulder's pretty bad." So, yeah, good guy. He he actually got hurt not too long after that on the jet ski itself. He took a big wave and broke his femur. Just from the impact of the wave. He didn't fall off the jet ski, but just going over a big wave and landed, and the impact alone just broke his leg bone, which is the hardest bone to break. But yeah, should just give you an idea of the force of the big waves out here.
The power of the ocean. You don't fool around with Mother Nature out there,
She wins every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether you're free diving, scuba diving, spearfishing's big in Florida, right? Or surfing. You just got to be careful and know your limitations. Trial and error. That's the best way. I mean, be safe. I don't know if you've heard this saying before, but when in doubt, don't go out.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So we try to convey that to everyone too. Like, hey, my shoulder hurts a lot. Should I go out? If you're questioning it, don't go out.
Yeah, you need the strength of the body to be able to perform at your optimum
Sure.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that answered your questions about different types of injuries out here.
Yeah.
But mostly it's sprains and strains and stuff you see in typical sports arenas in any capacity. But the uniqueness that everyone wants to know about is the shark attacks, right? That's the one variable that keeps people out of the water, right?
Yeah.
So, but it happens. Florida,
Yeah,
I believe,
so you
is
have those who fear the ocean, won't even go, to the beach or go swimming because of the sharks out there.
Sure.
But and they're out there, but the majority of the time, they don't want to eat people, right?
No, we're not on the menu. I'm a scuba instructor, and every time I come across a shark, what we teach people is go vertical, not horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so old; they're dinosaurs, right? So if you're horizontal, swimming away, you're food, right? So if you face them and go vertical, they're like, we don't know what you are, and they'll swim away. They all bother you, but it's hard to stand your ground when you have that your lizard brain kicking in, fear, right? It's a tough one. So,
You have huge sharks out there along the coast.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's unfortunate to say, but just an attack happened just the other day in Waikiki, out of all places.
Ah.
They're fine. A board was bitten, but tiger sharks are big. I don't know. I'll show you a photo I took. This was in Haleiwa, which is the town on the North Shore. I know your viewers can't see it right now, but I sent this one to National Geographic because this is the biggest one that I've seen. I don't know if you can see that okay.
How many feet do you think that is?
They said about...
Pretty big because there's a diver right next to it, and it's like 3 times the size of the diver.
Yeah, he's about 6 feet, and that shark is about 17 feet, they guess.
Yep.
So it's a pregnant female, so she was about 16, 17 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's bigger than some boats, right?
Yeah.
But I saw the shark in the water. My buddy's like, get a photo. I'm like, I'm saying by the ladder. Okay. But some people don't have that fear in them, and I do. Like, I was afraid to go in the pool after watching Jaws, right?
Oh, that movie just ruined it for so many people. And yeah, Shark Week comes out on TV during diving season,
I'm on Shark Week. Yeah.
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 You're on it? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I had to pull a guy in after he got his legs bit off out here. I know, not a fun story.
Oh, wow.
But he was just swimming in the water. And typically, snorkelers and swimmers will get attacked way more because they're splashing, right? Like the distressed animal. And we were kayaking this day, and a man had gotten attacked from behind by a tiger shark. And it took one of his legs, and the other one was kind of hanging out. But we pulled him into the shore and did CPR, and he survived. We're friends to this day. But that was 2015 already. 8 years, 8 years ago. But yeah, that was my one moment on the National Geo channel. So, but what's cool though is after he got healed up, I got to do PT with him. So I got to help him out through his recovery and gait training with his prosthetic and wound healing and all that. So physical therapists everyone thinks just exercise, right? But it's a little bit more involved. So we do neurological rehab. We can do amputations. We deal with wound care and how those injuries will need to be improved while we're healing. So when I work with like my veterans who have amputations, you have to talk about contractures and modification of the prosthetics. It's involved. So it's a lot to think about.
Just trying to get people to start living a ordinary life, as ordinary as it can be once again.
Yeah. You and I were briefly talking the other day about one of your clients who's dealing with some issues, right?
Mhm.
And the underlying factor, if you don't mind me saying, was
No, you
multiple
gotta.
sclerosis. Yeah, multiple sclerosis.
Uh-huh.
And for those unfamiliar with that, that's a systemic neurological degenerative condition, and unfortunately, no cure. So, in addition to all these like orthopedic problems they also have a hard time controlling their muscles as well because the nerves are damaged. For keeping it simple.
Mhm.
And, yeah, there's never just one problem with people. We're very complex, and that's why every case is just a little bit different. I hope that makes sense to your listeners. Yeah.
I think it will make sense to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 It's never just one thing.
In life,
You're
and
lucky if it's just one thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Why does my knee hurt? Well, it's because this, and this. It's never, Sometimes we get lucky and it's just a strain or sprain. But there's also a variable behind that too.
Mhm.
You always have to ask, why did this injury happen? And maybe it's from sports or trauma, but sometimes it's due to just being off balance or asymmetry.
Let's take a quick break.
Get ready to elevate your wellness journey. Step into a world of holistic well-being at our most anticipated event of the year, the Flagler Wellness Expo 2024, March 23rd and 24th at FPC High School. Join us and immerse yourself in a vibrant celebration of health and wellness, curated just for you by your local community's leading wellness professionals. Discover your path to a healthier, happier, more balanced you.
Like that.
And being off balance and not even realizing it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people out there who, I'm sure with exercise and training, they need it. Absolutely. And just like me, I'm sure you exercise every day, right?
Try to.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in my DNA, I got to do something. Even if it's just walking along the beach,
Move the body. Yeah.
something. I had a bad day this week. We have them, right?
Mhm.
And I found myself at the gym just like on an elliptical, like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here, right? Just why am I here? This sucks. but I did my hour and I'm like, I'm going home and I'm watching Netflix, whatever. But you just get it done. You have to.
Did you make your bed that morning?
I did.
No, that morning you went to the gym and you didn't feel like being there.
Every day.
So our last podcast, for those of you who didn't hear it with Brian, he said we got to start our day by making our bed. Right, Brian?
Make your bed.
Gets you set up for success for the day.
Well, I mean, if you can't handle a task like making your bed, you're going to have a hard time getting through your day, right? Work tasks, phone calls, emails, friends, lovers, families, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
That's, and I think that if you get your bed in order, literally, or you get out of your house, and then you come home to a made bed. It's like,
How nice is that?
I know it's simple, but
Mess it up again.
right, yeah, but there's nothing better than like crawling into a nice clean bed when you're tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the small things in life that matter in creating habits and consistency,
Mhm.
whether it's weight loss or just working on your cardiovascular health. I think in our society, we get often too weighed down on weight loss and trying to look like a sturdier body, right? But what you need to focus on is just general well-being. Just
Feeling good inside and out about yourself. Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many neurologists and podcasts out there today about how the benefits of walking around the block, good for depression and anxiety, cognitive functioning, all these variables that I don't want to touch, but so much research, just move in. Yeah. And swimming. So that's why I believe surfing's so good. There's a lot of books on it, the science behind surfing and how it changes our mindset and beliefs, how our outlook on life changes, and just connecting with nature. And if you don't have access to the water, connecting with nature could look like a park, a lake, could be walking in a forest, something, right?
Mhm.
But I truly believe it's more important than anything. And fortunately, I live pretty close to the beach. And at the very least, I'll do a bike ride around the park every day. Just to kind of let go of whatever the day's problems were.
Mhm.
I can only speak for myself, but I think if a lot more people did that, there'd be a lot less stress.
Yeah, the world would be a better place.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice to dream. Yeah.
And there's just something about the water, even if you're not in it, seeing it, like you said, walking or bike riding near it, the sound of the ocean.
Yeah, I put my hammock up on Sundays and just read.
Yeah.
That's my Sunday hobby. Just hammock reading, listen to the ocean and a palm tree. And I think that's why I'm still here in Hawaii, is because you can do that. And it just finding your own little, whatever makes you happy in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's it. Just sitting by the water, just doing nothing. And yeah, but I still try to exercise those days too, right? So a little bike ride to the beach.
Absolutely. Why not? If you live that close, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're pretty close too, right?
I am 10, 15 minutes top.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accessible. So you're from Florida originally, right?
No, born on Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
But my family moved to South Florida when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm a Floridian. I've been here for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of my family has moved away.
Okay.
But me and my kids are still here in Florida.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to call Florida home for a little while. That was my first, connection with the beach, right? And having, just South Florida, just being able to go out there any day. Well, on the weekends, but still just having the ability changed my view on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunate. I think we're fortunate, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've always been near the ocean, though, even being raised on Long Island.
Sure.
The ocean was all around us. It's a little island off the side of the state up there in New York. And we went to the beach all summer long. Of course, wintertime, it was just way too cold. The water was freezing. And even in the summer, I can remember the temperature of the water being colder up north than it is here.
Oh, yeah. The Atlantic. Yeah. Not fun. I've been diving out there in the Atlantic and it's cold.
Cold. Yeah.
But something about the culture too, the fishermen, the food, the activities, just the seagulls on the beach.
Uh-huh.
Feels right to me anyway. Yeah. I know not everyone's a beach lover. Some people hate the beach.
I know so many people that live around here that don't even go. It's like, why do you even live here? I don't understand it.
It's definitely not, well, Florida's nice, but the weather can be pretty brutal.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
It doesn't get that hot there in Hawaii.
Very fortunate. There's trade winds, so the winds come across the island from the windward to the leeward side. In the winter, there's more breeze, so there's always some kind of airflow. Whereas in Florida, I mean, there's days like in Miami where there's no flow. It's just humid, still. And that's why I think it doesn't feel that hot out here, because there's always some wind going. We're very fortunate. Geographically, it's a weird place to be in the middle of the Pacific, like one of the most isolated places on earth. But it used to freak me out when I first moved out here. I'm like, we're pretty far out.
Living way out on an island here.
I mean, there'd be like, well, what if something bad happens, right? And kind of just get used to it.
That's when you learn how to be a pilot, so you can have a little plane to get out of there.
I've accepted my fate. I'm like, well, if this is where I am, well, it's not a bad place.
Yeah, there you go. We all got to go sometime, right? It's not so bad going as a Hawaiian native.
Yeah, I had my first earthquake about 2 weeks ago here. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they happen a lot because there's big island where there's constant lava flow all the time, so seismic activity. But a big earthquake happened 2 weeks ago, and my bed was shaking for like 20 seconds, and looked outside and like there's construction in my building because I've never realized that was an earthquake before. I'm like, who's the idiot shaking this wall? And I went back down to do my work, and my buddy called me, and he's like, "Did you feel that earthquake?" Oh, it didn't even hit me. Like that's how ambiguous I was. I didn't even know what was happening. Then, yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, little things about island living. Even after 10 years, that was the first time out here.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness, just the one, and not so big, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So,
Okay. So I know I said we were going to be talking about surfing, but let's talk a little bit more about the diving out there in Hawaii. You're a certified instructor,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Patty, yeah. My training was mostly in Florida, Mexico, and Indonesia, and yeah, I wanted to learn more as we go on. And the marine life out here is what attracts most scuba divers. So we do have manta rays, varieties of sharks, humpback whales. And although you're not supposed to go after the whales, they're out here. So it's pretty amazing we get a chance to dive with them. The sound alone it's like, I don't know, universal connection. Not to get too hippy-dippy on you, but it's just, I don't know, you're just connecting with these animals that are larger than life.
Yeah.
They look at you, you look at them, and we're each mammals, so there's something magic about it, spiritual almost.
Yeah,
And,
we've had some right whales here off of Flagler Beach. They come all the way down this way. Usually start coming down in January, February, and then start heading back late, a few months later. But
Sure.
yeah, what a sight. What a sight.
Have you ever been in the water with any?
No, but when I saw one for the first time with
Yeah.
a baby, oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to just jump in the water and swim to it.
It's a weird feeling. I have been guilty of diving off a boat and just swimming out to them. You're not supposed to do that here in Hawaii, but
Not supposed to do it here either. You're supposed to leave them alone. So
yeah, in the Philippines and Thailand, it's a little different. They're like, yeah, have fun. Yep. So like with whale sharks and all that, you can swim out to them, and as long as you're not harassing them, it's generally okay.
yeah.
But I've been on boats where I see a whale shark and I'm like, head first. I mean, they're just, I don't know, they're just so cool. I find it absolutely fascinating.
So as a dive instructor, do you teach groups of divers or do you individuals? How do you do it?
Yeah. So right now I'm not doing for work. It's just volunteer through the VA.
Oh, the VA stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So adaptive scuba. So people who may be paraplegic or have trauma from war, maybe it's amputation, or maybe it's brain injuries, traumatic brain injuries. Whatever it may be, we'll be there to guide them because they need help too, Oh, I didn't mention this with you too, but there's an organization I volunteer for out here called Access Surf, where we get physically and mentally disabled kids out in the water on surfboards. So yeah, it could be anything from congenital deformities or just cognitive abnormalities, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, and they're wheelchair bound, and you get them in the water for the first time, and it's just magic. I don't know. Something about the water, overwhelming with emotions. I don't want to like cry talking to you, but
Yeah.
oh my God, those kids, like they spend their whole lives just in a wheelchair, and you get them in the water for the first time. It's like magic. It's so cool. Sorry to detract off.
No, that's great.
Yeah, scuba diving is the same. You're weightless. You are just free.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are so afraid of it, but once you get in there and you realize you're totally safe, you're flying through a totally different environment. You're out of this world. Like literally, we don't belong there. And it's almost because it's like once you get comfortable, it's like walking through the forest.
Yeah.
And there's no noise. It's quiet, peace. You get time to think, and you're just staring at this coral and marine life, and it's like a walk in the woods, but supreme bliss. It's a nice feeling.
A lot of beautiful places to go scuba diving there.
Hawaii's unique because it's mostly volcanic, right? So there's not a lot of coral reefs, and that's why people mostly travel to Philippines or Indonesia, Australia for the Great Barrier Reef, or I've been to Belize and Mexico for these things. But Hawaii, it's volcanic, so it's not very beautiful on the bottom, but the marine life that it attracts is appealing. So dolphins,
Yeah.
a variety of tropical fish that we'll see out here.
You have your favorite spots to go to?
Yeah, so it's called Sharks Cove. That's on the north shore of Oahu. And you can only go in the summertime because the winter season waves are way too big, just not safe. And there's all these little lava tubes and tunnels that you could swim through. And so you'll be diving and you just get to swim through these 5 to 6 foot wide lava tubes. And there's all sorts of eels, lobsters, octopus, and all kinds of cool things to check out. And you're just exploring. It's a cool, it's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fell in love with it when I started in Miami. Gosh, that was already 16 years ago. I've been doing it now, 16 years diving. So, yeah, it's taken me around the world. So I can only speak about my passions, but I encourage everyone to find something out there like that, whether it's hiking or biking or whatever, something that can take you around the planet. It's that's my excuse anyway. I'm going to.
Sounds like a good excuse to me. Go for it.
Yeah. I gotta go to Mexico. Why? I'm gonna go scuba diving in the cenotes, which are underground water caves. They're awesome. But yeah, I just really wanted to go to Mexico and have fun with my friends. There's that too. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else that you would like to add to our information here for our listeners as far as surfing or diving goes?
Okay. Not specifically, but in generalities, surfing can be one of the most liberating things you can do. For me, it changed my life. I never thought I'd be out here on a rock in the middle of the ocean surfing, but here I am, So if you have any fears or questions or concerns, you can reach out to me directly, but it's all about just being uncomfortable to grow in life. And surfing is definitely one of those things that will make you uncomfortable. And people always think you have to be young. No, not true at all. There's people out here who are starting in their 60s, right? So you see it all the time. People come out here and their one dream in life has been to surf Waikiki, right?
Well,
Because what's that Elvis movie? Trying to remember.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Hawaii. Blue Hawaii.
Is that it? The movie?
Oh man, I gotta look. But anyway, there's these movies they grew up watching and they want to come out here. It's a lifelong dream. So it's never too late to start something new. That's my only advice for you out there is if you have something you always want to do, today's the day. Don't wait.
Get out there and do it because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring.
That's right.
Enjoy your life.
Yeah. Try your best. Well, you and I were talking about diseases. And, sometimes life has plans. They get disrupted by injury or neurological conditions or, I don't even want to say the big C word, but it happens, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll try to be healthy and realize that health is the greatest wealth, right? So I try to remind myself of that every day. You can go to the beach, you can go to the gym. There's some people out there, there's some people out there who don't get that opportunity. They have the wish to do a push-up or a bench press, and you're looking at it like work. It's like, no, you get to do this. This is your privilege. You should be grateful. So I hope there's a consciousness collective shift in America because the benefits of exercising far outweigh sedentary lifestyle. And I'm sure you've seen this trend in recent years too. Just lack of activity and all the factors that come along with being unhealthy.
Yeah. Laziness. Get off the couch.
Yeah, there's so many variables to consider, and everyone wants to talk about diet, nutrition, and vitamins and supplements, but at the end of the day, it's about moving a little bit more. So finding whatever it is that makes you happy. Maybe it's a walk around the park with your dog. That's why, I think animals are so important to everyone. Just getting us up and moving.
Yeah, and they like it too. They like
Oh.
it too. The animals, right? They like their walks. I know mine does.
You have dogs?
I have a Dalmatian sitting right
Dalmatian?
beside me. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I saw him walking around. I really
yeah,
saw her.
my girl.
Saw her walking around. Yeah, I mean, Dalmatians need tons of exercise, right?
They do. A lot of energy, especially the first 5 years of their life. They're still in a puppy stage. She hit 6 years old and finally decided to slow down a little bit, but she still likes her walks,
Yeah. Yeah, constant zoomies for 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, what's your dog's name? I didn't even ask.
Haley.
Haley. Okay.
Haley. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm talking about you, tails wagging.
Yeah. I was telling my business partner, one day I'll get a dog here again. So it's just nice. I had one for a while. He passed, but it was I had him at my clinic, and he was a therapy doggo. He just wag us down, say hello to everyone.
Nice.
At lunch, we just let him go run on the beach. I mean, that was a happy dog. He lived probably the best life I think any dog could have.
Yeah. Coming to work with you every day and getting to go to the beach. And
even when I went back to work, he would just stay out there and everyone knew him. So it was just like, he was just like this local dog that got to hang out with surfers all day and people's feet on him. Come back to the clinic when he was tired and wanted water. All right. Yeah. True Hawaii dog. Manu. Yeah. But yeah, Manu means bird out here. So use free bird for sure. Yeah. Hawaii's great for that, There was only in like the tourist areas that they have restrictions on like leashes and all that, but typically everywhere else you kind of just let your animals go free.
Really?
Yeah.
So
yeah, just Waikiki. Yeah, Honolulu, Waikiki, you have to have dog on a leash. It makes sense. There's some dogs are nice, some aren't so nice.
That's true.
Yeah.
Responsibility of the owner, right? I mean,
yeah, especially with all the tourism, you just want less stress. But for the most part, any other island that you go to, you'll just see dogs out there on the beach, playing frisbee, having fun. So, in their element. I don't know how it is in Florida. I can't recall, but I think they have strict laws, right?
Oh, yeah. Most of Florida, yeah. You have to have your dog on a leash, or they have to be trained very well.
Right.
And even as far as taking them on the beach, there's restrictions of where you can take them. I mean, here it's a little bit better than down south. Down south was only a small portion of the beach, only certain times of the day. And here we can be either 10 blocks north or south from our pier, and you can walk your dogs on the beach, play with your dogs on the beach. But they ask for you to have a leash on the dog.
Yeah.
Makes it a little hard to play, but
yeah. But if I know you, you trained your dog well. So I'm sure
she's a good girl. Yeah. All right, Brian, this is great. Thanks for coming on again and talking with me and giving your insight to everybody.
Yeah.
Or my local surfers are going to find some interest in our topic today.
Yeah. If they have any specific questions related to pathologies or injuries, I didn't want to go too specific because, there's all sorts of ankle, knee, toe, hip, back, shoulder, like people get hurt in weird ways. And if your listeners have any questions about that, you can always reach out to me directly. If you have any questions about, what we typically do, or maybe even how to tape up an injury, there's a lot of resources available online to reference. So, yeah, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and believe me, everybody, Brian will get back to you. He really cares about people. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time on your podcast. There's this book I read called Ikigai.
Yeah,
it's in Japan, and it's life purpose. And for whatever reason, people call me all the time for injuries, and usually I have pretty good advice.
Yeah,
pretty good. And most people listen, and they get better. So I'm happy to share. But with the human body, it's complex. So your best bet is to get in front of your physician or physical therapist locally so they can actually take a look at you. I hope that makes sense.
Great advice. Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Brian.
Sure. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me again. I hope you have a great tournament coming up and everyone has a fun time. That's all we can hope for.
Absolutely. Well, aloha.
This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast to help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up.